How to find God's quiet whisper when the world is screaming your failure. What do you do when the world has already labeled you a failure? When your phone feels heavier because of unanswered messages? When your social media feed feels like a scoreboard of everyone else's success? When people stop asking about your dream because they assume it didn't work out? When your own thoughts echo louder than any outside voice? Have you ever noticed something? Failure is never quiet. It announces itself. It repeats itself. It magnifies itself. It exaggerates itself. But God rarely shouts. He doesn't compete with the chaos. He doesn't argue with critics. He doesn't post rebuttals. He doesn't trend. He whispers. And here's the problem. You can't hear a whisper if you're addicted to noise. So today, we're going deeper than motivation. We're going deeper than surface encouragement. We are uncovering how to find God's quiet whisper when the world is screaming your failure. Because what if the whisper is more powerful than the scream? What if the whisper carries direction, correction, affirmation, repositioning? Stay with me, because by the end of this message, you won't just feel better. You will know how to discern His voice in the middle of pressure. Failure feels loud because identity is involved. When something doesn't work, it doesn't just challenge your plan, it challenges your sense of self. The world measures loudly: results, speed, recognition, numbers, progress. If you're not visibly advancing, it feels like you're regressing. But here's what makes it worse. We live in an age where everyone's highlight reel is public. Comparison becomes automatic. You see promotions, engagements, businesses launching, platforms growing, doors opening. And if you're in a waiting season, it feels like silence equals rejection. But here's truth you need to anchor yourself in. Loud does not equal accurate. Noise does not equal authority. Volume does not equal truth. The loudest voice in the room is rarely the most trustworthy one. Think about storms. Storms are loud. Thunder is loud. Wind is loud. But roots grow in silence. The scream of failure attacks your confidence. It replays mistakes. It magnifies what didn't work. It asks, what if this is all you'll ever be? And if you're not careful, you start agreeing with it. But the whisper of God doesn't accuse. It clarifies. It reminds. It anchors. And it always aligns with who He says you are, not what your circumstance suggests. Let's look at the story of Elijah. Elijah had just experienced one of the greatest public victories of his life. Fire fell from heaven. It was dramatic. It was undeniable. It was loud. But right after that victory, fear entered. Threats came. Discouragement came. Isolation came. He ran. He hid. He felt like he failed. He said, I am no better than my fathers. Have you ever gone from a high moment to a low one? From confident to questioning? From strong to exhausted? God tells Elijah to stand on the mountain. A mighty wind tears through, but God is not in the wind. An earthquake shakes the ground, but God is not in the earthquake. Fire appears, but God is not in the fire. Then comes a gentle whisper, and that is where God speaks. Notice the contrast. The loud manifestations did not carry the message. The whisper did. Sometimes God removes the dramatic so you can rediscover intimacy. Sometimes He strips away the applause so you can hear His affirmation. God doesn't shout because He wants proximity. Whispers require closeness. If someone whispers across a room, you can't hear them. You must move closer. The whisper is an invitation. When the world screams, you missed your chance, you're too late, others are ahead, you're not gifted enough, you failed, God whispers, I am not finished. I am shaping you. I am strengthening you. I am positioning you. The scream produces panic. The whisper produces peace. The scream demands reaction. The whisper invites reflection. The scream pressures you to prove. The whisper reminds you who you already are. Think about Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times, publicly. That failure echoed. Imagine the shame, the replay in his mind, the embarrassment. But when Jesus restored him, he did not shout. He did not expose him. He asked gently, "Do you love me?" 3 questions, 3 affirmations, 3 restorations. The whisper rebuilt what failure tried to destroy. Sometimes the world isn't screaming. Your mind is. You replay conversations. You analyze decisions. You imagine what people are thinking. You create worst-case scenarios. Self-condemnation is loud, but conviction from God is different. Condemnation says, "You are a mistake." Conviction says, "That was a mistake, but you are still called." Condemnation isolates. Conviction restores. If the voice you're hearing produces hopelessness, it is not God. God corrects, yes, but He corrects with hope attached. He disciplines with destiny attached. He redirects with purpose attached. The whisper never removes your future. Look at David. Before he wore a crown, he wore obscurity. He was overlooked when the prophet came, forgotten in the field, ignored by his own family. But the field trained his ear. He learned worship there. He learned courage there. He learned intimacy there. The battlefield victory over Goliath was loud, but the preparation was quiet. You cannot sustain public elevation without private listening. If you're in a quiet season right now, it may not be punishment. It may be training. Consider Joseph. He had a dream from God, but instead of promotion, he experienced betrayal. Instead of favor, he experienced accusation. Instead of progress, he experienced prison. It looked like failure, but heaven was writing strategy. If Joseph had skipped the prison, he wouldn't have had the maturity to manage the palace. Delay developed capacity. Sometimes what feels like God's silence is actually God's strengthening. The whisper in prison prepared him for influence and power. Here is where this becomes practical. You cannot control the volume of the world, but you can control your posture. Create intentional silence. Turn off external input regularly. Even 10 minutes of stillness recalibrates your spirit. Pray honestly, not performatively. God responds to authenticity. Read scripture slowly, not for information, but for alignment. Journal what you sense. Whispers are often subtle impressions that grow clearer over time. Obey small instructions. Clarity increases with obedience. You'll know the whisper is returning when peace replaces urgency. You stop chasing validation. You feel steady even without visible change. Your confidence becomes internal, not external. You sense direction without drama. The whisper stabilizes you, and stability is stronger than hype. Let me speak directly to you. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. Seasons of silence are not seasons of absence. Sometimes God quiets everything around you so you can hear what He's been saying all along. If the world is screaming right now, that may be your signal to lean in, because the whispers are for the near. Pause. Take a breath. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. Ask, God, what are you saying about me that I have not been hearing? Don't rush. Don't force. Peace is often the first whisper. Clarity follows peace. If this message spoke to you, type in the comments, I choose the whisper. Not the noise, not the shame, not the comparison, not the panic, but the whisper. Share this with someone who feels like the world is screaming their failure right now. And subscribe if you want more messages that help you discern heaven's voice in difficult seasons. Because the world will always be loud. But the whisper carries destiny. And once you learn how to hear it, the screaming no longer controls you.